Hey y'all, welcome to TXT Tells All, or welcome back if you're one of our subscribers. So, y'all have heard about the Darrell Brooks trial by now, I'm sure. It's been all over the news, and there was a verdict that just came out the other day where Darrell Brooks was found guilty on all counts. So, he has 76 counts against him, and he was found guilty on all counts. Now, if you're tuning in and you're watching this and you're like, who is Darrell Brooks? You say I should know, but I don't know. Let me give you a quick recap. So, Darrell Brooks, unfortunately, ran through a parade in Waukesha and killed multiple people. I think it was 8 people total, including a 8-year-old, or it might have been 6 people, including an 8-year-old little boy, and many different people who were just out at that parade. And he drove with his SUV through the parade and murdered these people. So his trial has been going on the past about 3 weeks or so, and he decided to represent himself. The case, we heard about the tragedy with the parade, but the case really gained notoriety and started to become really popular when he decided to fire his public defenders and represent himself. So that is the rundown on who Darrell Brooks is. If you haven't checked out our channel before, I did a live when the verdict was read, the guilty verdict, and we just kind of talked about the trial, his behavior during the trial, because that is unfortunately a reason why the trial got a lot of attention, and what might happen in the future if this case is appealed. Does he have meritorious legal issues on appeal? He might. Now, that's what I wanted to get back on here and talk about today and really focus on. Darrell Brooks' mental health. Was he competent to stand trial? Did he have mental issues that weren't really addressed by the court? Those are real serious legal questions. And I did want to touch on that, particularly when I did the last video on Darrell Brooks when the verdict came out. Some people questioned in the live, was he, did he have mental illness? Why did he fire his attorneys? What was going on there? So that caused me to want to do a little bit more research, because y'all know I like to have these discussions with you guys, provide content, but I also want to provide good sound information. So I went back and did a little bit more research, and I saw and read that Darrell Brooks' mother, Dawn Woods, actually did say that he had mental health disorders. She said that he had a history of personality disorder as well as bipolar disorder. I'm going to play a clip for you that this happened before the trial started, where a news outlet did an interview with Darrell Brooks' mother, and she was sharing her concerns about his mental health as he made this decision to fire his attorneys. So let me share my screen with you so that you guys can hear that, because I think that's really important, especially as we discuss moving forward with a potential appeal here.
After talking to Brooks's mother tonight, Adam.
Dawn Woods predicts a quick trial, saying her son has no defense. She says Darrell Brooks suffers from mental illness, and because of that, she's angry with the judge for allowing him to represent himself in court. She does not think it'll go well.
I can see the storm coming.
That storm, Dawn Woods fears, is another emotional, manic outburst from her son, Darrell Brooks, once his homicide trial begins Monday.
Shouting, it's acting out, it's throwing chairs, it's destroying things. It's all of the above. It's like someone setting off a time bomb.
Dawn has been trying to defuse that time bomb for 40 years. She speaks with Brooks every day from jail, but says recently his tone has changed. The stress and pressure are getting to him. She fears he's falling completely apart, headed toward a psychotic breakdown.
I'm hearing Daryl slowly slipping for the past 2 months.
Brooks has bipolar disorder and personality disorder. Dawn says without his medication, Brooks gets explosive when he panics or is afraid. And
So you see there where his mom is talking about his history of mental health, and that she's been talking to him on the phone every day. And that was during jury selection. So that's at the very beginning of trial. And she's afraid that he is, spiraling. And she goes on to talk about, that he's had manic episodes in the past that could last, anywhere from a day to weeks to even months. And she's concerned that his behavior is just going to spiral out of control, where him representing himself would not be a good idea. So that kind of leads me to the legal side of things, right? So if you guys have been following some of these other tragedies, unfortunately, I did two videos on Nicole Linton, Nurse Nikki, who was the nurse who ran through the intersection in LA and murdered people as well. And she had a history of mental health issues. She has counsel, and it's not the public defenders either. She has retained counsel that have been advocating on her behalf to get mental health evaluations in order to build the defense that she did not have the mental capacity at the time of the alleged crime to be convicted. She would be not guilty by reason of insanity or by reason of mental health defect or mental disease. So her attorneys are working on building that defense for her. If you haven't heard that story or haven't checked out my other videos, make sure you check that out. Also, Beatrice Bijou, Larita has been covering that story, and she was an attorney who had a history of schizophrenia, and she ran through a parade and injured multiple people. If you haven't checked out Larita's videos following the Beatrice Bijou story, check that out. But she was just acquitted by reason of insanity. So she also had attorneys advocating for her on her behalf, even though she was an attorney herself. So you see those two cases where these people are represented by counsel who either successfully advocated for them with an insanity defense, or at least are working towards that with Nicole Linton. Then you have Darrell Brooks, who had public defenders. They said his previous attorneys, because he had more than one, from the state public defender's office, never suggested that he might not be competent to stand trial. So that leads me to a differentiation that I think is important here, right? There's one standard that says, is this defendant competent to stand trial? And then there's another standard that goes to the, is this person not guilty by reason of insanity or by reason of mental health disease or defect? Those are actually two different standards. And that's really important because in the Darrell Brooks case, they did do a mental health evaluation. The judge actually appointed 3 different doctors that did NGI mental health evaluations when there's a consideration, is this person not guilty by reason of insanity? At first, Darrell Brooks did, throughout the course of his trial, or not trial, but his criminal litigation, he changed his plea. Sorry, y'all. Forgot to take off that volume. Bear with me. He changed his plea from guilty. Hold on, y'all. I forgot. You know, it's the middle of the day and the office phones are ringing, so we gotta just bear with that. Hold on, for me 1 second. Okay, so my bad, y'all. So, where was I? Yes, so Darrell Brooks, they did do mental health evaluation on him to see if he was insane or had, and that standard. But there's another standard. Was he competent to stand trial? And that's what the lawyers are talking about as far as appealable issues. The standard to see if a person is competent to stand trial is the accused able to understand what is going on in trial and why, and are they able to assist in their defense? So do they understand what's going on, and are they able to assist in their defense? If you watch my other video, I show clips of how Darrell Brooks was acting during trial. He was banging on the desk, talking over the judge. He wasn't really understanding what the judge was saying as far as the legal ramifications of objections. There were a lot of different things going on. So many attorneys and mental health experts are saying that the best argument on appeal might be the judge permitted an obviously incompetent person to represent himself, not just stand trial, but represent himself in a mass murder trial. And is that a problem? Was there a correct evaluation of his competence to stand trial? Specifically, the part that says that an individual in trial must be mentally able to assist in his defense. That includes whether they're defending themselves, representing themselves pro se, or whether they have a lawyer. Are they mentally capable of assisting that lawyer in presenting their defense at trial? So these are real issues. Now, of course, we hope that the Waukesha parade victims and their families get justice here. And, Darrell Brooks was found guilty. He was found guilty by a jury on 76 counts. And I'm, prayerfully for the families, that provided some sense of closure, although obviously that won't bring their loved ones back. But the opportunity that Darrell Brooks, because of his antics, hopefully they weren't, we don't know. Was he just putting on a show? Does he really have mental health issues that made him incompetent to stand trial based on the standard under the law that he must understand what's going on and he must be able to assist in trial? Many mental health experts are saying that, looking at the behavior without doing an, one-on-one evaluation with him, it seems that he did understand what was going on, but the problem is really going to lie in, was he mentally capable of assisting in the defense, assist in his defense in a rational manner, defend himself in a rational manner during trial. So that's going to be questions on appeal. It's going to be interesting to see if the case gets appealed. I'm pretty sure it will be. And what the legal arguments are going to be on appeal. But if you haven't checked out my first video I did on the Darrell Brooks verdicts, make sure you check that out because it gives a little bit more information on the case if you haven't been following it. And stay tuned to our channel. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We post new videos every single week, and I'm definitely going to be following this case. So if there is an appeal filed, I'll be back on here giving you guys the scoop on what the grounds on appeal are, and we'll talk about it. All right. Thanks for checking us out. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And again, hit that subscribe button. We post new videos every single week on TXC Tells All. I'll see y'all next time.